She's my sister.
Good afternoon. This is a purge date for us, and I'm going to call our meeting to order. I believe I hear somebody trying to enter with us. There he is. Okay, and we'll let Spence get in, and Commissioner Dickinson, would you lead us in prayer?
Let us pray. Lord, tomorrow is the birth of our nation. We want that our republic was based on recognizing that our Creator endowed man with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Lord, let us use the gift of life to be of service to others. Lord, let us endorse the gift of liberty by realizing that true liberty is conforming to your will. Lord, let us use the pursuit of happiness to enrich our lives and to really enrich the lives of all around us. Finally, in this holiday, we pray for safety and health for our families, for our citizens, and for everyone else who is going to enjoy this wonderful holiday. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We all have before us a copy of the minutes that were from our meeting in May, and we added in a little addendum for your record book that we had suspended the meeting for July. So if you like me, I would wonder where that one was, and you can include that in your binders. But have y'all all had an opportunity to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I move.
Go ahead, Dan.
I move that the minutes be accepted.
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Miss Anita,
Yes, ma'am. Here is the voter move report, and it's gonna be a little bit longer this time because we didn't have a meeting, last month.
Correct.
So, this moves from 5:10 to 6:30, and there's 473.
Mm-hmm.
Your microphone on?
You'll sign this
Okay.
and give it right back.
So the voter move report was 473.
Okay.
All right. Absentee voted started a week ago today, and it's been slow, but we've had a lot of people calling, wanting absentee ballots.
I have a question on absentee voting.
Yes,
Anita,
ma'am.
have you set your Saturday dates yet?
Yes, Saturday dates are, is it July the 8th, I believe. It's 30 days before the election, and then the 2 Saturdays prior to the election will be open from 8 until 12. I'll give you those dates here just a second. So July the 8th from 8 to 12, July the 29th, 8 to 12, and August the 5th, 8 to 12.
Thank you.
Good. Very helpful.
And thank you for getting your absentee ballot count to me. I have that all in a good spreadsheet. I'm just waiting for the Democrats. They're supposed to be giving me those today. And then I'll let you know how much it's, what the balance is.
Okay, good.
I have to get a quote. Anything else? I see this list here that I was given for the number of precinct scanners and poll books and express vote machines.
I don't know if that's current.
Okay, well, if it's not current, I probably would like to have a new one then, because Brian is making labels for the machines.
When?
He's already started. I sent him that. So if you could get me a current one, I'll notify him. I need to talk to him anyway because,
You think this is current, Pat? Who gave you, did you give that to her?
No.
Who gave that to her?
Not me.
Did you give this to her?
No.
Well, I didn't dream it up. It's
Well.
got 2023 primary stats, tablets, panels, tablets request. Whose writing is this?
You know what?
That's mine. That was, but nobody that I know of has zeroed in on those yet. though.
Okay.
We're
Okay,
supposed to-
we need to
Alright.
do it.
Very
We
good.
need to approve them.
Okay,
If you'll let us look at them, Al.
very nice.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. This is, here's the voter count right behind it too, if you want to. But I do need to get that so that Brian will know how many machines that we have, and LNA will probably start in a couple of weeks.
Okay, okay, great.
And that's all that I have.
Spence, it's the mandatory purge day.
Sure, it looks like it's like the minutes, what is it we're,
Oh, it's the, list of how many machines and, the scanners, the tablets, that sort of thing that we need to order for this election.
Can we
For
change
each
privacy
precinct.
screens and that later? Because I'd have to think about that one. The other is okay with me.
There's a voter count sheet right here of the number of registered voters in each precinct, if you would like to view that too.
yes, okay.
But I'm,
Minutes for Purge Day, I had it printed in my vehicle, but it's what I emailed to y'all have it? Or no, you don't?
I didn't print it.
Okay, I should have checked my stack of papers I've already, what I'll do before the end of the meeting is go. I think, I reviewed it, we had like 5 names,
Right.
as committed to disenfranchising crime since January. I'll get that before the end of the meeting.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
You named them in your email, correct?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just scoot down a little bit and start with 7 then. And, we have the, request for purges, and there again, it's a longer period, so District 1.
Pat, before we, or are we going to circle back to Spence? Okay, never mind.
Okay, District 1,
127,
District 2,
63,
District 3, 98, District 4,
60?
and District 5 had 56. Do I hear a motion?
so moved.
All right,
second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, on inactives for, District 1,
111,
District 2,
26,
District 3, 27, District 4,
84.
District 5, 4. You hear a motion?
So moved.
second.
Well, I heard Dan and then I heard Helen, so I'm gonna do it
That's fine.
that way. Hey,
Dan,
first and
Dan first.
you first, you second.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Under old business, I had listed the J&J Moving, and I brought the sheet, but Helen, could you speak to it while I find the number?
Yes, I did contact them to verify that they're still on board. So he's got it, what he's waiting on is, the route. So, Pat and I are working on the route. We just about got it finished. So I'll get that to him. Also, he's got the trucks already lined up. He's good. So I feel good about it. I think he'll be here. And I guess that we'll decide who's gonna ride with what route, so we'll do that. And, he gave me a quote, and this takes us, this is through the primary and the runoff, if we have one. And do you want me to say how much? It's $34,000 for both of the elections. He's already booked him for the November election too, just to have him on the book. So he did not give me a quote for that yet, but I do have that. He's on board. He's ready to go. So I feel really good about that he won't, we'll have trucks to deliver our equipment. So anybody have any questions or anything that I need to?
I'm very satisfied with him having it. They did a good job with this last time. And with us being able to ride with them and point out the exact locations, it makes such a difference. Plus having the road department to provide the manpower that we
Right.
need. So we just need to acknowledge that we have that lined up for the primary election.
You know, there's a quote, I guess, and not a contract. There's, the minutes. Not in the minutes, it doesn't exist.
Right.
What vendor is, so.
Do you need to look at it?
Well, I don't need to look at it, but let's, maybe vote on it and put it in the minutes.
Okay, well, do I hear a motion then?
So moved.
Okay, second?
I
Second.
second it.
Helen?
Okay, all right.
I will say that I did get it approved through the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, it's in the boards.
Yes.
Well, we haven't verified that it's in there, so I'd rather do what.
But
you
I
do.
just
Yeah.
wanted to say I did
No.
take it before the board.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So who was first and second?
Lauren and then you.
Okay.
Okay, and, then we have our, AOC report, and Lauren had,
Do you want to do this as part of the mandatory purge day, or do you want to do it separately?
let's do it separately if you don't mind.
Okay. So each of you should have a registrant activity report, a VR 007, showing disenfranchising crimes in your packet. It is, I believe, 36 voters. The crimes have been verified by Spence. We've received sentencing orders for all of those except for the ones in Madison County. And I went in and purged them for a disenfranchising crime. This is between May 3rd and 6/27. We do need to vote to approve that.
Just a number, do you remember offhand without me counting them?
I think it was 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
I need a copy of that, please, Lauren, for my minutes.
Through them, I think you got it.
I gave it to Anita.
Oh, okay.
30, 31. It's 31. Will you pass that to Helen?
Sure. Okay.
All right, so that's in the form of a motion from Lauren.
I got it, Pat.
Okay.
Okay. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi. I would like to add, and this is not something that we just need to vote on or anything, but we started cleaning up this AOC report in February or March. We had probably 150 to 200 voters on it, and we could have multiple records for voters depending on how many times they were convicted of something. We are now down to 4 disenfranchising crimes, which represents 3 voters. So good job, Commission.
And I have contacted my one, and I still have not received from Clark County the documentation, but they know about it.
I've contacted them as well as the other 2 voters to receive the documentation and have not received it. Some of them are fairly old convictions,
Yes.
so I think the clerks are having to go out into the archives to find them.
Yep.
Well, I think that speaks well of y'all handling that, and getting it going, and it looks good with the Secretary of State that we have been working on that
Sure.
actively, so thank you. Okay, under new business, we have, a permanent absentee that's listed here, and, it's, in District 315. So I make the motion that Peggy be added to the permanent absentee list.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. In your package, you also have a letter of withdrawal from one of the candidates that was running for tax collector. And Spencer, we just need to acknowledge that, or Anita, what do we need to do?
Probably just acknowledge, yeah,
Acknowledge it, okay.
don't let me
Okay.
speak for the attorney.
What'd she say?
Don't let me speak for the attorney.
That's good. Did she get her withdrawal in time?
Yes, she did. She did.
Okay.
All right. I had also included in your, kind of under new business, so you'll need to pencil it in. My mistake that I didn't get it on the agenda, but C will be the budget worksheet. And I have not had a chance to speak to the Board of Supervisors yet. They will let me know a date in the future. But I worked this worksheet up. It comes in a spreadsheet. And so I was able to get it done and in by the deadline. And I just wanted y'all to be aware of what I have put down with the different categories. And it doesn't take anything yet because it really comes under the purview of the Board of Supervisors. And so I'm just providing you with a copy of what our budget request is, because I don't know yet what it will be determined to be.
Looks good.
Thank you, Pat.
I'm hoping to get some new equipment in the office with some of that, and it's
Yes.
approved, and so that would be nice. I spoke to Dwayne earlier, so I appreciate how that would maybe work out. Okay, let's see. Are there, you ready for us to take,
Do we need to acknowledge the
while
poll
you go
workers?
get it, can I run down the list of new precincts? Would that be
That
appropriate?
sounds good.
Okay,
I'll get it.
And then we can-
You're gonna run down what?
the list of the new precincts.
Okay.
With the redistricting, we had, several that were realigned. And, I've noticed when I was running the, totals, Nita, I'm sure you saw it too, how that the, district totals are kind of varying, aren't they?
They are.
And, like District 1 has a total of 11,000 plus voters. District 2 has 18,700.
This may have a better.
District 3 has 18,500. District 4 has got 14,000. District 5 has got 16,000 plus. And so I thought the idea of redistricting was to align our voters more.
That's what I thought.
I did too. I thought we were going to have fairly equal numbers.
That's what the law requires.
Previously had been, and I'm just making an observation and stating it on the facts that I found, looking at that the voter rolls don't exactly blend to what I.
And I know, I will note that I lost thousands of voters to District 2, which is already the largest district.
Now, I will say, did they base it on census numbers or registered voter numbers? Because if we're on census numbers, I think they're
That's a
fairly equal.
possibility.
It's on census numbers, but the idea I felt like from the legislature was that we would all be equally tasked with a same number of voters. And CMPDD is quite capable of running reports that align and tell you how many rooftops are in a certain area. And, since we weren't able to participate with redistricting, it was a shock to me that it turned out this way. I did get to work with it 10 years ago, and it seemed like it was more equalized at that point. But we do have new districts now with, let's see, District 1, do you mind sharing with us your two new ones?
Yes, I've got First Pres and Pilgrim's Rest. And I gave to Pat Ridgeland Rec and Mark Apartments.
And so First Preds has a new number of 101, and Anita was able to help us get all these realigned into the district numbers. And Pilgrim's Rest is 102. And then in District 2, you gained which one?
So Pilgrim's Rest and First Pres I gave to Helen, and then I gained Lake Caroline, which used to be 410 and has been renumbered as 210.
Okay. And then I gained the Ridgeland Rec, which is now 301, and Mark Apartments, 302. And so I had to move one of my precincts to the new Holmes Community College workforce building. And the circuit clerk has been so diligent and has gotten mailed out all our new voter registration cards. And so any of the public listening, please check to see if your voting precinct has changed. Just to show up where you once voted is not gonna work for this first few times with redistricting, because you may have a totally new precinct where you need to visit. There's an interactive website on the Secretary of State's page, and you can type in your address and it will you don't have to put your name or anything, it's your street address, and it immediately will populate with where you vote and its actual physical address. So I want to encourage our public to reach out and take advantage of that, if just a street address. And I believe there's even an interactive map, just like MapQuest, where you
There
can
is.
gain directions to your new precinct.
Pat.
District 4,
District 4, I acquired 411, which happens to be my home district. Pat and I share that. Since I have the predominance of voters there, I'll be managing that precinct. I also acquired 420 Colonial Heights Baptist Church. That used to be, what was it, 312, right?
Yes.
312. Now it's 420. And unfortunately, I've lost most of Lake Caroline to Lauren, but I'm sure you'll be very satisfied with your poll workers there and the wonderful people who live there.
and District 5 didn't have any real changes that I'm aware of. I think his stayed pretty
Pretty
much
much
like it
the
was.
same.
Mhm. All right. Spence, if you are ready, we can,
Yes, ma'am. Only 3 names.
Right.
Oscar Stevenson committed on. Those are only 3 names. They may not be voters, but if they are, I guess somebody usually.
well, I usually.
I've been handling the AOC, so I'll take care of it.
I always ask Lauren to do that when she comes in to get those 3 names off for us. I appreciate it, Dan, but I think you've got your hands full.
Oh, I do.
All you're trying to accomplish too, so, all right, do I hear a motion that, if.
So
found-
moved.
Okay, Diane,
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, we're down now to,
And I might add one more comment.
yes,
Or is this attorney comments? Or?
it's your
Sure.
turn,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So, we did come to an agreement with the Democrat, but they still wanted to borrow the machines for the poll worker training, so they have a contract with Anita, and Anita, as a custodian for the voting machines, will, check those out or supervise those during poll. Contract between the party. Approved this morning.
It was.
Board meeting.
It was acknowledged, yes.
Okay, acknowledged, so that contract's in there, so I wanted you to know that, and then going through that, Mike Yeske had a good idea, that if there's ever any damage, that they'd be liable for that, since they're. Good idea, and it wasn't in the, Republican agreement, and so. We have an addendum to the agreement. For them, so if no objection, I'll.
All right,
Okay.
Okay.
And it was a good idea, I was thinking about, we do municipal elections. We always get, there can be a machine that's banged up or something, it's the county's machine, so we might add that going forward, that we loan the machines out. In good shape, so I thought it was a good idea, we'll add that.
And I just want to say, consistent with our legal obligations, we want to provide as much support as we possibly can to make sure that we have a good election.
Yes. I agree. Here's my bill for the last, really 2 months since we didn't meet in June while y'all were doing poll worker training,
Thank you.
and still are doing poll worker training.
Right.
I move to pay Spence.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Y'all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Okay.
that's all I've got.
All right, we're kind of down to, comments from the commissioners. District 1.
Well, I just want to commend the election commissioners, for following up with our return mail, that we have had a bundle of it. So if anybody can look at our numbers and see that we have really, of course, we got a lot more to go, but we have really made a good dent in it. So I just think that we should pat ourselves on the back, because it's been hard.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot of hours that we have put in, and it's pretty tough right here at election, when we have a election coming up. So thank all of y'all, and you for sending them out, I guess.
Thanks a lot. We
Great
really
way to-
appreciate it.
Thanks for the extra work, Anita.
A great way to
It
clean up
is.
the.
Absolutely.
Very valuable.
Absolutely.
It's been really, and, so in our training, we go over, a lot with the affidavit table, because since we have been working on this, and as you can see from the numbers, we have done a lot of inactives. So, as you know, so if they do go, they will be doing affidavits. So
Yes.
Pat and I and all of us has really worked hard to go over that affidavit table, so that we can make sure that every vote counts. So, thank you, election commissioners. I appreciate it.
Can I tag on to your comment? I would like to encourage the public to not be upset if their name is not in the tablet. This is merely a tool. We're providing the best we can to keep up with you in our systems, and this is a way for us to get a current address. You may have moved within Madison County and updated your driver's license, let's say, and maybe that information didn't get here to the circuit clerk's office. And so we're doing our best to be able to communicate with you and ask you, if the same, you'd be patient with us through these next couple of election cycles, because you may need to fill out the affidavit envelope. But it means your ballot will be counted. When you're checked in the system, we'll determine that you are a voter that we can reach by mail, you have an active record, and we will process your absentee ballot as if it had been done the day of election through the scanner. So have no qualms about it. We're trying to do our very best to take care of Madison County people.
In line with the same thing, we're processing several thousand cards, if you, right now. And we're sending out a lot of confirmation cards. If any voters get a confirmation card, please return it to us. If you still live where we're sending it, just fill it out and tell us we're still there. We believe you. If you have moved, please fill it out as expeditiously as possible and get it back to us. It's a business reply envelope, won't cost you anything, maybe take you 20, 30 seconds to fill out. And that will reduce the lines, reduce the confusion, and we'll have you right in the books the way you want to be.
Exactly. Thank y'all. We appreciate to the public.
Very much so.
Okay, District 2.
Well, some of my comments actually tag onto that, but first I want to ask Anita, you're pulling the poll books down at end of business on the 10th, correct?
Yes, but they'll be repulled the last day of absentee voting. As soon as we get the last absentee voter into the system, we'll pull them again.
Okay, so we do have a lot of returned voter registration cards, which I think is an excellent way to clean up the
Absolutely.
voter rolls. I'm actually very excited about that. I personally have prioritized mine by sending out those that had forwarding addresses in Madison County first, so that we can get the Madison County voters, known Madison County voters, taken care of as soon as possible. So if you do receive those, like Dan said, please send that back as expeditiously as possible. My other comment is to the training. We have all been training our poll workers, and I think it's going very, very well. We're doing it a little bit differently this year. We have smaller groups. We have more trainings. One thing that we are emphasizing in the training, and I personally have emphasized in emails to all of my poll workers, is because of redistricting, it's not a question of whether or not your precinct will have multiple ballot styles. It is a question of how many you will have. It is extremely important as a voter and as a poll worker to pay attention to that, to make sure that you are getting the right ballot in order to vote for the right representatives of where you lay your head. I think we've been hammering that home fairly well. I know that we've mentioned it. I think we're beating a dead horse a little bit in our training, but it needs to be beaten. It's definitely something that we want everybody to pay attention to.
And of course, as always, there will be sample ballots posted at each precinct so that if you do have a question about anybody that you're particularly trying to vote for, you can vote either a Democrat ballot or a Republican ballot. This is a nominating process, and by that I mean the parties are nominating their candidate to go forward to the general election. And so be sure to look at the posted sample ballots that are out there.
Pat, also on that Secretary of State website that you mentioned earlier, there's a little blue tag up there that you can punch, and it will give you the sample ballot that you will actually be voting.
Very valuable.
Perfect.
Good.
Very valuable.
Great. Okay, District 3. We have printed a copy, and we got one this morning. It takes about an hour for each one to print. And so Helen has printed 2, I believe, now. And so we will put one on each commissioner's desk, and then you'll need to make copies accordingly. If they're done over here at the Board of Supervisors, it will be a faster process
Sure.
than our printer.
It's the address library.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
but
just
we do
library.
need to have one for each
Yep.
precinct, because it will list all the splits and therefore who they would be voting for and things. We all need to go and check, and we need to do this with coordination with Anita in the basement, to check out our trifolds. Sometimes they get deteriorated with transportation, and so we need to make sure we've got one. And in my case, I'll have some that I need to relabel for the new precinct number
Right.
that I now have for them. So we need to all check with that. Would you prefer us to try to do this as a group sometime, so you're not just back and forth?
That might be good. A matter of fact, that would be good, because I got one the standing the other day and brought it over, and the little privacy screen was not in the standing ones, so I'm not sure that they got put back in there the last election.
Right,
So
Right.
we need to check those two.
okay.
So if, as a group, would be great.
Okay, well, y'all let me know when we can do that.
Sure.
You'll be back soon, and so we'll get that coordinated where we can all get over there together and dig through the basement, so. I believe that was all I had. Thank you. District 4.
No additional comments. We're all looking forward to a good election.
That's right. And District 5 is not here, so we'll move them down to, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn until September the 11th.
Before we do that, Pat, can we acknowledge the list of poll workers?
Thank you very much. I thought about that on Friday afternoon, and I know that was a rude awakening for
Yeah.
everybody's weekend, mine included. But
Yeah.
yes, we have included in our packet a list of poll workers that we have already engaged to be working at the election. And we're wanting to make that a part of our minutes also. Okay, thank you. All right, the motion.
So moved.
Diane and
Doesn't matter.
Laura.
Doesn't
Whichever you like.
Who's the first?
Diane.
Put us in whatever order you want.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,